everybody? Welcome to the No Fluff, No Gimmicks Raw podcast for entrepreneurs, specifically real estate investors. We are the Golden Ticket Podcast. Check us out at thegoldenticketpodcast.com. I'm your host, Mr. Jesse Davis from Texas, and
host Jason Caro. Nice to see you, Mr. Davis.
yeah, man, it's been a couple weeks.
People could be privileged to hear some of the good conversations leading up to.
Oh yeah, it'd have to be. That'd have to be maybe a separate show because our moms listen to this show, and that was not mom.
You know what we should do for that podcast? What we'll do is we'll wear masks.
Yeah. Oh, I would actually love to have a podcast like that where we're just like kind of talking some crazy stuff.
And just wear
just
masks.
about whatever it is, just life in general. Yeah, that's how we like to do. So
I'm going to tell you this: if this land stuff ever gets, we go straight to that.
Yeah, exactly. Just to everyday, just raw, like kind of like Andy Frisella, kind of like what they a little bit of that, like just. They just don't care, you know. They don't care about sponsors. We don't have no sponsors either. So
no, I don't even know if we have any listeners.
When we ever get exactly, me too. I know exactly.
But I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm sure you feel the same way. When I leave our sessions, I genuinely feel a lighter step. Like it's actually, like all right, I feel good. I feel good about a lot of different things, not only real estate related. I feel like well-rounded in a lot of areas.
I do too, and sometimes I'm getting to the point now. I feel like the podcast. I'm super excited about it, but now it's like, what do we talk about? It's like those things, and I'm sure all podcasters go through. But you have to just keep going and just have them. But then when I actually do the podcast, it's like going to the gym. I don't want to go once I get there. I'm like, man, I'm so glad I came. I feel great. Same with this. Sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. I think it's 30 minutes, but then when I'm done, I feel great. Like just like I feel a lot of stuff. I feel energetic, you know, just, us talking and
I feel the same, genuinely speaking.
And I learn something sometimes too. I mean, from you, sometimes I'll learn something.
I got something.
I'm sure you learned something from me too. Yeah.
So, there's plenty of gurus out there that are constantly like, go to where the activity is. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
You're a new student, right? And you've bought into the concept. I'm sure, like you probably were, I don't want to say easily swayed, but you were easily swayed to go to where the activity was taking place, right? I mean, did you go to where the activity was taking place?
Yeah. I went straight to, I wasn't, at first, when you're new, you kind of get that competition out there. I want to go to states where people aren't going. So I actually went to Kentucky first, but later on, I was just like, I'm just going to Florida. I went to Texas. But I don't think people need to be scared of that. I think a lot of new people, I hear a lot of people say, not even new people, some people there was a guy that was in my group. He was part of our WhatsApp group, and he'd been a wholesaler for a while, and he's like, there's too much competition out there with land. He never even got started. And he was older. He was probably close to your age, and he was a smart guy. I think he was just too scared of the competition. But and I've been like, I think we've all been like that. Have you ever been like that before? Like, I don't want to do Dallas, Texas. There's too many people there. There's too much competition. Have you ever had that mindset before, like when you were younger?
No, I'm going to tell you my mindset, which has always been, it's funny, the complete opposite, which is,
that's great.
Well, if everyone's there, it must mean something. And then I think, I know my salesmanship, so I'm going to go there. If this thing can be done and everyone's doing it there, that must be for a reason. I'm jumping in. Now, what I come to learn is from a psychological standpoint, which is, I guess, our topic for the night. You sign up for these courses to learn something. In this case, for us, it's land. Whether it's the flipping lots or finding distressed lots that are or messy files, messy deals. At the end of the day, we're discussing land. And the gurus will tell you, go to where the activity is. Well, I think if you don't believe in yourself and you're going in gun shy and you're also doubting whether the concept works, you're already at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
So
Totally
now
agree with that.
you know what I mean? You're going into an area where everyone's going because you
Mm-hmm.
need some hand holding. Let's be honest. That's why you're going there
Yep.
because
Yep.
you're not sure where to go. You're not sure what to do.
Yep.
You're new. Well, here's why I think it's a horrible idea if you're new or if you're seasoned to go where there's low hanging fruit, which is where all the buyers are or all the sellers are. There comes
Where
a
the one second, where the low hanging fruit is, that's where the buyer and seller. Or are you talking about?
where there's a high concentration of buyers and a high concentration of sellers.
Okay.
The reason why at this stage I think it's a bad idea is, let's say you're either one of us in that you have the confidence, you've done the business before, and you know that this is taking place. Do you want to go where ultimately you're going to have to go deep into your pockets for marketing
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
get a deal done, to stand out from the competition? That's a
Yeah, that's
simple
the
question.
problem. That's the problem right there. Yeah, I don't know if you want to, unless you have a
Right.
cheap marketing. But yeah, I think that's a lot of stuff that people shy away from, or maybe like you said, sometimes they're new and they just go for I'm going to go for Dallas because I live there or I know it's busy.
Low
I
hanging
guess it
fruit.
also depends. Also, yeah, it also depends on your. You keep saying low hanging. So for me, to me, the idea of low hanging fruit is where there is no competition and you can just get deals super easy. For me, like Dallas would
That,
be like
that
super
exists.
competitive, super competitive. Yeah, I don't know, but that exists. But I guess it depends on what you're going after. But anyways, but I think that um, yeah, I think depends on what your marketing strategy is. 100%. If you're doing PPC or you're doing some mail, I mean, you might not want to do those big heavy areas because unless you have a lot of funds to throw at it, you know what I mean?
Okay, so just so you and I are on the same page, which usually we are, but so that there's no confusion for anyone that might be jumping in the middle
Yeah.
of this and saying, what are these guys talking about? For the record, low hanging fruit means that a lot of deals are getting done. Now, whether the profit margin is a 10, 15, $20,000 spread versus a $5,000 spread
Mhm.
is inconsequential for this conversation.
Yeah.
All I'm meaning to decipher here is that low hanging fruit means there's a lot of flow of deals coming and going.
I think you and I have a different definition of low hanging fruit, but I look at
I'm
low
just
hanging fruit as
clarifying for
like
this discussion what I'm talking about. So
so so the topic of this podcast today is low hanging fruit.
low
What's the
hanging
definition?
fruit.
So for me, low hanging fruit is easy, easy deals to grab. Easy. No one's
Okay,
talking
so
to
we
them.
both
Grab
agree
those deals.
easy deals.
But I do love. I will concur with you. I will say yes. I do like good markets. And yeah, I love a lot of competition. Or because I look at it like this: if he can do it, why can't I do it? I mean, there's deals there. You know, it depends on what you're doing. But you're talking about marketing now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Oh, hey, by
okay,
the
so I've been very fortunate in that I've held fast to the belief of sticking in one, when I say one market, one area. So for this conversation, let's just say it's Florida. Okay. And
Florida. Just say it like
Florida,
you really Florida.
Florida.
No,
And
take the R
I've
out.
been,
You're from New York. It's fine.
I'm from New
Florida.
York in case you couldn't tell. And I've been marketing to these counties for well over close to 2 years. Now, the message has been changed, whether it's neutral letters, whether it's blind offers, whether it's postcards, whether it's calling, whether it's text, whatever it might be. The bottom line is that I've stayed in these markets. And there's always been deals. But as time has progressed within that market of the low hanging fruit, I have climbed up the tree within that market
Oh
to,
wow.
to
I'm visualizing
separate
all this.
myself from everyone else that's targeting the, I guess in certain counties it might be smaller parcels, to go to bigger bandwidths of parcel of lot sizes. Yeah, I'm sure the sellers just
Bigger bandwidth. What do you mean?
meaning
To
instead
larger,
of 1 to 5 acres, I'm going
larger
22
acreage. I got you.
larger
Okay.
acreage, larger
Hmm.
acreage. Uh,
This is mail, right? You're doing mail
yeah,
still.
still doing that.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
The reason, which I kind of wanted to bring to anyone's point, was that I think you have to accept the fact that you're never going to find the untapped market or the untapped uh, county or zip code or area where no one's ever done a deal, unless you're like
Yeah.
shooting somewhere in Alaska. I bet you even then, I bet you even those areas are being targeted. But I'm
Oh
seriously
yeah.
saying this. What was that?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's being targeted, um, unless they're doing what I'm doing. That sometimes the people have never been talked to, but they
Yeah,
never.
we could
But that's a
pivot.
harder seller to find. Different. That's a harder person to find, so no one's actually calling them. And then I actually went. So I know examples. You're talking about heavy markets. So I started off in Harris County, which is Houston, huge, and everybody I talk to, oh yeah, I'm in Harris County. I'm the people that are in my realm. Yeah, I'm doing Harris County, but there's still so many deals there that if I did it for a little while, but then I was just like, man, no one's answering the phone. I need to get something. I want to talk to people. So then I went to tertiary markets with land, tax delinquent. And that's when I talk to people that have never, actually, they know the land existed or never had been talked to ever. Not that it would not, so then you think, well, I'm going to get the deal. Well, no, sometimes most of the time they want to fix it themselves. And it's a follow up or something. But yeah, I was like you though, where I did go to the heavy market, and I'll probably go back to it. But I'm just like, I need to get something going, and if you're going to those bigger markets, you're going to talk to a lot more individuals before you can get a deal compared to smaller markets. But go to smaller markets, guess what? You have less data, less people to talk to. So,
So
and
stop,
you probably
stop
have,
right there. Let me interrupt you.
okay,
Why don't you tell the people listening what would make it so bad as to there being less data if the average deal size is greater?
one of the large deal sizes is great, but that's probably not the case. If you're in a
Wouldn't you
higher
notice the difference to be where the market, whether it's tertiary or secondary, where there's not as much data? Like, what can you generalize or make?
generalized about that so far, like what I'm doing,
Yeah,
there, just for example, I'll give you real quick. I'll give you two examples. Harris County compared to Gregg County. That's a county I'm working. It's Longview, Texas. It's about 120,000 people, probably 150 at this point. It's a little country. That's where I'm from. It's a crummy little town, but people live there. It's like this big town of the country. Anyways, so Harris County, after 350,000 records on tax delinquent, I filtered it down to about 170 that I would go after. Everyone that I would look at on Harris County, if I went down each file, I'm like, oh, that's a deal. When I was evaluating, that's a deal. Pretty much everyone I would look at was a deal. And it was like 50K or plus spreads if you could get the deal through everything we'd have to do to get it done. And then fast forward, let's go to Gregg County. Record size is probably I don't know, 100,000, maybe more, maybe less, and then only got like 20 files, maybe 15 that were worth it, and the spreads weren't as big because the property values are worth less in Gregg County compared to the Harris County, where you can find a crummy little house, but there's so much gentrification going around it.
yeah.
It's worth the land at least. It's tax delinquent. The person's dead. You can't find them. Compared to Gregg County, that's not always the case. You can't. There's a lot of crummy areas. No one wants to live there, and they're worth nothing. You're not even want to mess with it. All the work you have to do to get the deal would be too much.
Yeah.
So anyways, but that's kind of what I look at. So, but it just depends on what you want. I mean, I say experiment with it. Um, but like I like what you're saying though, how you went with the higher acreage, especially if you're in the tertiary counties. If you don't want to go do a major county, definitely I would say if you're doing a land, definitely choose 5 acres or more, or even what you were saying, even more than that. But sometimes 5 acres isn't even worth that much in a rural small county. You might need to do 10 or more,
Yeah, no, you're
and then you get a
1000% right.
because the
Yeah,
higher price point. What happens when there's a higher retail value? There's always going to be a bigger spread for you. The
of
lower
course.
$30,000 acre, $30,000 a deal, or $30,000 retail acreage, you're that should be your minimum almost because like you can't really squeeze in any kind of profit margin worth your time unless you can get it super $20,000 a lot. You get it for 2,000 if you're lucky. So you know what I'm saying? It's just not. Some are not because we always know the deals that the bigger deals take just as much work as the small deals. But if you're new, yeah, go after the small deals, I guess. I mean, just so you can get a deal done, learn the process, and get better at it.
You know,
I don't mess with the small ones. It's just not worth my time. I really just wait. And if I don't
yeah,
get a deal, I'll just wait for the bigger deals.
I think,
So,
as we're talking about this, like my head is exploding in this, where there's so many different rabbit holes you can go down in this business, not
hmm
only in what you focus on, but what you want to specifically do within the business as it pertains to how you want to market. This is almost as if it's its own conversation in and of its or another topic. I guess we should have started this with who really is the avatar, how to determine your avatar,
hmm
because you can't market not unless you have $1 million or whatever it is. You can't market to everyone. So how do you make the most of your time,
yeah, be efficient. Yeah.
efficient, your efforts, and you're just starting out? Because I mean, what we discuss are mainly things that we've encountered starting out in our first 12 to 15 months and all the things that we've learned at that point. So that's why we discuss these different things. And I figured we'd start because everyone's saying, hey, listen, focus on where the sales are. But nobody ever
hmm
says in all of those courses, if you focus on where all these transactions are taking place, you better have enough money to stay in marketing for the competition you're about to encounter. True?
hmm No, I agree. I like what you just said. Go where the sales are. That's a super big point. Don't go where there's no sales. There's no. You want the market to be moving there. Even now in the market right now, but you want to see some movement because if not, even if you got a crazy good deal, even you and I know crazy good deals, and you're selling it super cheap, and no one wants to freaking buy it. That's a
Yeah.
big lesson I learned. Big lesson, and that's what real quick something that you had last year we had talked, and you would always bring this up to me, which I loved about it was you'd see a lot that I had listed, and you'd be like, would you? You're like, what are you thinking there? Like, who? You'd always ask me, who is your buyer?
Who's your
And then,
buyer?
a lot of times I wouldn't think about that. I just think, well, I got super cheap. I'll list it cheap, and those deals never sold. And it's like I think that's super important because you can waste a lot of time getting good deals under contract that you'll never sell them because nobody wants to live there. There's something weird about it. You know, the shape of the lot. There's maybe a little bit of wetlands, but I've had some deals. I'm like, that's so cheap. Why does somebody want this lot? It's like in a good area or it's in a decent area, but like I guess the shape and the wetlands was a little bit of wetlands, but you can still build on it. Anyways, but yeah, I think that's a big point that you're saying uh, to have a lot of sales. I think that's important in the market
Yeah.
or
And
in that
just to
area.
kind of piggyback on what you had mentioned, which again, worth discussing in greater detail further, which is you have to know the exit strategy going into every single deal.
Exactly.
What I mean, if you're looking at the lot, not as the investor who has it under contract, but you have to look at it as you are the buyer
hmm
for this end product. Who are you and why would you be buying it? I mean,
Exactly. I love that because a lot of guys
right?
don't think. I didn't think about that, and that's great. That's such a good lesson right there.
Yeah.
Such a good lesson.
And I was fortunate that I went into it from the beginning pretty early on. Like by the third or fourth month, I was thinking, what am I going to do with this thing? I mean, I
Hmm.
remember, I'll never forget it. One of the first deals that made me think this was I thought I had such a major score. It was like a 4.5 acre parcel in South Carolina. And
Hmm.
this was before I'd even contacted any real estate agents. And I had it under contract for like, I want to say it was in the teens. So let's just say it was like 15 or 16,000. And 4 acres were going for like 80, 90, 100,000. And I was like,
Damn.
wow, this is a great deal.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem though. Never mind the road barrier. I'm sure you've seen them on turns on the roads
Oh
where,
yeah, yeah, yep. I've
right.
seen lots before like that, and I was questioning. Yeah,
Never
that
mind that
was.
half of the road frontage had a road barrier. I had to think, who at 85 miles an hour is going to want to hit their signal to turn into this parcel of land?
Hmm.
Now, up the street, it would have been great because I saw mobile homes there, but let's be honest. You're doing 85 miles an hour on this road. Is this going to be an ideal lot? No. But these are the things you have to think of.
What was the speed limit on that road? Do you remember?
55.
55. Okay.
So,
Oh,
okay. They're doing
okay.
65. My apologies.
Well, I'm thinking what the road barrier would be because I had that one deal last year that was probably my best deal, and it had tons of thousands of views on Zillow, and it was in a turn, but it was 10 acres, but there wasn't a road barrier, and there was almost there was a way, there's almost a drive. You could almost like you could drive up in it a little bit,
Well, on
but
that
yeah, I agree
specific
with you.
lot, I got it. I still took it. I still took it down. I had to sell it to the neighbor, and I was able
You
to
took it
sell it for like,
down, or you
meaning
wholesale
I
it?
purchased it. I got it under
Oh wow.
contract, and I did an assignment, and I sold it for I
Okay.
think like 22,000 and made $3,000. It was like one of
Okay.
those
Hey,
really
listen.
good
Hey,
deals.
you help the yeah, you help the seller. That's
Sure.
what I love about this business is that even if you don't make a ton of money, if you're able to help the seller get rid of it, and then saying the neighbor got more acres, they're happy. Hey, you did something. You provided some value. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. But you
that's
always have
big.
to really look in between the fine line of the value aspect when you are in areas where you're going to, I don't even want to say low hanging fruit because with you, you get,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
your
No, it's
eyes are
not
going
the
to
thing.
roll.
Yeah. There's something. There's. Oh, are you still saying same something? You still going? I want to
No,
ask you a
no, go
question
ahead.
before
And
I
I'll finish
forget.
finish what
Because I
I was going to
almost
say.
forgot I was going to ask you something, and I almost forgot what I was going to ask you. And I remembered. Okay, I got to ask him. I love something that you do that maybe you didn't do before. Whenever you find a deal, I know you always call realtors, and I know we were
Always.
kind of trained like that. And I know I did that on one of my first deals, and I stopped doing it. And I wonder if that burned me sometimes. I always feel like I want to know what are you saying to him because I'm like, because you
Real
feel like
simple.
you're wasting the time or you're, you know what I mean? Like, I'll
I'm
let you
not wasting
list it
anyone's time. It's
because I
real
want to add them
simple.
some value. Uh
So
huh.
I'm obviously, you know what? It comes from the belief that you're thinking you're asking them to do something for nothing.
Hmm.
And I think more than anything else, you're having a conversation with someone that supposedly is doing a customer service business to begin with to be compensated. Now, granted, the realtors have the expectation of the possibility of gaining the business of the investor. But for them to do that, they themselves need to be able to show their value and offer something to
That's
gain
true.
my business.
There you
Until
go.
then, I'm just having a conversation with someone that is the expertise in that area. So I
Okay.
would contact real estate agents, and I still do to this day. And I'll say, hey, Jesse, this is Jason with Home Sale Land. I'm reaching out to you on a parcel of land not that far from where you actually closed earlier in the year, the one over on John Street, the 5 acre.
Mm-hmm.
Does that ring a bell? They usually say
Yes.
yes. Well, I see that you closed it for $50,000 for the 5 acres. I'm looking at a similar deal and I wanted to confirm because if I decide to buy it, I might have an interest in selling it. And I don't know any real estate agents in that area. And I was hoping I could just speak to you briefly about this parcel compared to yours. See what I said? I said I might continue, I might potentially buy it, and I'm thinking of wanting to list it. You have to drop a little bit of information for
Yeah,
them to
yeah,
pick
yeah.
up to say, well, let me see if I can answer some questions, and maybe this person will consider listing with me in the future. That's all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of times I got to be real honest with you, Jesse. I'll keep the real estate agent's information because if I go back in that area and I can't do anything with the deal, I will text the agent and say, hey, listen, I'm going to give you a lead that I can't do anything with, and
Mm-hmm.
no harm,
That's
no foul.
good. That's
So
good. That's good.
yeah, I think if
Yeah.
you don't hit up the agents, you have
Mm-hmm.
no you're gonna.
That's such a bomb right there. Yes, that's such gold right there. You got because I knew that's something I did in the very beginning in Kentucky, and I met a couple that were just so eager. They were like, this one girl was like going to the county, pulling up deeds for. Like, I didn't even ask her to do all that. She's just trying to do some due diligence for me to get the deal, but she actually wanted to buy it too, I think. But
Oh, you have to watch out for those agents too.
yeah, she was super nice, but and that deal never worked. It sucked. Those are the deals you're talking about, man. You get super excited and they kind of let you down, but you got to keep going.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you too. So you tell everybody else. I kind of know how you find your realtors. You just don't want to like go on Zillow or pull up. Hey, realtors in my area. Who are you looking for when you're trying to find a realtor to work with or to give you some evaluation of the lot that you're thinking of?
Yeah.
What's your
Well,
do?
first
So
thing
what do
is
you
they
do?
need to answer their phone,
100%. I love that.
right?
Great, and that's one great answer right
That's like
there.
the
Thank you.
number one
For
thing.
one thing, you don't answer your phone. I'm leaving.
I'm
I'm leaving
gonna
a
leave
mess
you
more
a
than the next one.
message. I'm gonna leave you a message, and in no joke, you got 3 to 5 hours to return the phone call. I'm going to
Yeah.
call you again, not leave a message, and since it's 2025, I'm going to send you a text. And if I
Mm-hmm.
don't get a reply from either a text or the message, I move on to the next one, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
See, something I was doing when I first started is I was calling them. I would call one realtor. You didn't answer. I'd go on the next one, and I would get some calls back. So you're waiting for them to call you back before you call another one.
No,
Okay, got you. And then
I'll
how?
call up in all seriousness. I'll call up like 2 or 3 in a row. If I don't
Yeah.
get, then I'll leave
Okay,
a
got you.
message, and I'll do the same thing, so that
Yeah.
by the end of the day, there's a better than 50-50 chance that I'll speak to one of the 3 agents that I
Yeah.
spoke to. And then they'll roll over where one might call back that day or the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
if
then
they
are
call me the
you?
next day, I tell them, I don't need your help. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, because the thing
I've already
is,
called. That happened. Yeah, I already called talk to somebody else, but maybe I could
no,
work
I
with
won't
you.
say
They're
that,
my
but I'll let them know. I think I've got my question answered. I appreciate the call.
yeah. Do you? Okay, another question for you. So when I was doing that too, um, I was maybe do the same thing, but I was vetting them by I would find basically what McCall taught us: find the sold lots, find the people that are selling land, and you're looking for the realtor that's listed who was the buyer's agent, not necessarily the listing agent, right? Or what were you? What do you do?
Both. So if the lot that
Okay.
I'm looking at is close to a closed listing, I'm going to contact the listing agent and the buyer's agent. If I can't
Kind of
find
both.
any sold, but I see a bunch of actives, I'll call up an active agent and say, I've got a parcel. I'm just wondering, how did you determine the pricing of your present listing? And have you
Mm,
done any deals in that area to see what the area of expertise is for pricing in that area? So
gotcha.
that if they can back up their pricing, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
challenge them and say, well, I'd like you to go and see my parcel and tell me what you think, and then give me a price because I need to get it sold in the next 2 weeks. So that way
This
they
is
can.
before. This is before you even this is before you even have contracted the parcel, right? Sometimes you
Yeah,
call people before, right?
a
Okay.
lot of times.
Yep. Let me ask you this too. So one thing I would look for too is I love when I would look through a lot of sold lots and I would see the buyer's agent or the listing agent and it was land only and I would see their name on multiple lots. I'm like,
Oh, I love
they're
that.
very, I call them first. I'm like, because
Oh
you're looking
yeah,
at someone who is very active. They probably have a list of buyers. They're real connected. This is what you want, guys. And you would agree. You want someone very connected to the community in that area. They're basically your
sure.
boots on the ground. Like they know
Without a
the
doubt.
area very well. You can't see it, and that's the big mistake I made last year. I think was I stopped doing that for some reason. I guess another thing too. I will mention this. I like to get multiple realtors' opinion because one time in
Yeah.
Kentucky, one lady was like so excited to work with me, and then she was like, "Yeah, I got buyers," and she saw it. She goes, "Oh, that's a trash lot. Don't even mess with that. It's not worth our time. It's not worth your time." The next guy was an auctioneer. He was a
Yeah.
realtor. He went and looked at it. He even went and talked with the guy that was squatting on it. Walked the property like, "Oh yeah, we could definitely auction this off for 80,000 or whatever." So I think that's important too, not taking someone's opinion right off the bat and really evaluate, like, wait a second, I think that's worth something. I mean, what is she saying? It's just junky because there's junk on the property. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
don't take someone's opinion, I think, right off the bat. I think that's important
Nope.
too.
Hey man, it was a good combo today. I mean, we
It
still have
was,
another one.
man. I really loved it. I like to, it made me kind of like, that kind of really made me rethink, like, okay, I need to start calling the realtors as well. I actually
You
did
better.
contact one here recently. I had called her once and then I emailed her. It's a lot that I don't know if I'm even going to get. So I didn't want to. Another thing too with the deals with the different properties, like you said, finding the buyer, like who is your buyer, and this one is like 46 acres. Just real quick, it's 46 acres, and it's the one that has like a gas well on it. It's got a pipeline road. It's like a lot of weird stuff's going on it, and you like that's worth money. Be like, yeah, but like who's going to buy that? Who's
Right.
going to buy that lot? I mean, it's a very specific person. Even if you sold it cheap, it might take you a long time to sell it because it's not like in a really popular area. There's a lot of right of ways going through it. Um, Live gas wells on them. Some people don't want to live near a lot, even though it's 46 acres, you got to live next to it. But so another little tip point there too. Get some good property. Make sure you know who your buyer is. But anyways, all right, yeah, this was a good combo, man. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed
for
it.
sure.
So all right, guys. You can check us out, thegoldenticketpodcast.com. We have a forum there if you have a deal you want us to look at. We can JV with you, give you some insight. Also, if you want to be a guest on our show, there's a forum there as well, thegoldenticketpodcast.com. You can find me on Facebook, Jesse Scott Davis, or on Instagram at Jesse Davis REI. And we will see y'all next week. And
Awesome.
the summary is what? What's the summary, just real quick, of the podcast?
Don't market to low hanging fruit.
Okay, and contact realtors when you find a deal.
Oh yeah, for
Get
sure.
get connected to that community
For
and make a
sure.
lot of networking because networking is super important. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right, man. Well,
Awesome.
next week I'll see you next week, and
Without a
just
doubt,
take
my
care,
friend.
buddy.
Be good.
All right, brother.
Peace and love.
You too.